Hello, world. You are listening and watching The Mindset, and I'm your host, Justice Lane, and I am joined today by a good friend of mine and a special guest, Stephanie Anderson. Hello, Stephanie.
Hello, Justice Lane. How are you?
We are here with a very important message today. Mrs. Anderson ran for Congress as a representative of Florida. She also ran for City Commissioner of Hollywood. So what better yet for her to unleash her mind on The Mindset about what is currently going on with Congress and our representatives in regards to the Department of Justice. They are literally both supposed to be for the people, but they are battling each other to bring us truth and justice. So let's just get straight to the point. Stephanie, what do you think about this?
Well, first of all, Justice, it's so good to see you and thank you for having me.
Yes, always.
Justice is such a good friend of mine and such a wonderful supporter of everything that I was doing when I was running for office and everything that we do in the community. So I truly appreciate you.
Always.
In regards to the DOJ and our Congress, I think it's important for people to understand how the DOJ operates and who they report to and trying to figure out this back and forth that's going on. So first of all, when the Department of Justice was originally established, it was established with the Attorney General as an advisory position to the president. And it did not have all of the other departments under it yet, like the FBI and all the Department of DEI and not, is it DEI? Not DEI. Firearm and tobacco.
I get the DEA. The DEA. Yeah.
Excuse me. Yes. Sorry about that. You guys got a little brain freeze there.
Yeah. But there's so much going on in the world.
Absolutely. So all these departments weren't operating at that time underneath it when it was originally formed. It was changed, and I don't remember the exact year, but it was changed a long time ago back to where the Attorney General would now actually have a role in prosecuting crimes against different people where the U.S. government had an interest, and also representing the U.S. government when they were in trials.
Okay.
So that position is 100% a position that reports to the president, and it's a department that is 100% run by the president, because at the end of the day, they're only going to go after or litigate issues that the current president of the United States deems as important to them.
I see fit.
Now, generally speaking, that is those areas are also important to the American people.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Where we have gotten into trouble is that with this administration, they differ. The goals of the citizens of the United States differ entirely from the goals of the administration in terms of justice. And we have to ask ourselves, why is that? Well, we have a lawless justice department right now, and we have a lawless president right now.
Fairness,
that's the reason why they're sort of batting against each other. Now, Congress is supposed to represent the interests of the American people and also direct those inquiries, as well as, the president in terms of, things that have a national interest where they have a say. Because there's no checks and balance in the DOJ, they are having to now hold them accountable in whatever way that they can.
Okay. So is that... Okay, so in regards to the Department of Justice, they should reply to that subpoena, but they're giving such an issue in regards to releasing information. So not in not about the information, but in regards to the releasing of the information process, are what they doing legal?
See, that's where the quandary comes in, because it's legal for this president. So the president is the executive branch is the one that's in charge of the DOJ. And so because this presidency has not followed the normal patterns of our Constitution, then the steps that the DOJ are taking are not following those steps either. But to ask whether or not it's legal, it's a trick question, because the president of the United States is responsible. The DOJ reports to them.
Yes.
The attorney general is chosen by him. And so what we have is a DOJ in this case that we didn't have in the first administration, where they are not willing to stand on justice because of the commander-in-chief.
Understandable. So in regards to everything that was just said, I know you speak from, or you can speak from the mind, the perspective of a congressional standpoint. So I won't ask the question in regards to the DOJ. But if you were in that seat and you were representing Florida, what are some things that you would do right now?
As a representative, what holding the hearings, calling and forcing the speakers to hold the hearings. There are administrative rules within the House and the Senate that those officers can call upon to try to force hearings. That's sort of what they are doing right now. I can tell you what I would not be doing.
Okay. I like that approach, yes.
I would not be relinquishing my seat to run for another one. And then possibly not having either one, which is the situation that our dear sister Jasmine Crockett has found herself in. We have a lot of either short-sightedness or ego in our government, and within our leaders that are supposed to be there with the right intentions.
Yes.
And my opinion, my humble opinion, because I don't, I appreciate the fight that Representative Crockett has in her district and nationally. But in my opinion, and we saw a lot of it in Florida this past election, where we had good representatives in place, and they left their seat to run for all the same seat. So now in Texas, what we're facing is the possibility of not having a balance in place in either one of those seats, because the Democrat that did run the primary could lose. And of course, Crockett can't run again. She already missed the primary in that seat. So
Understood.
I think that what we do need to do is to really encourage our representatives that are in position to stay in position, and then to communicate with one another in terms of who are we going to support for this race. But unfortunately, there's a lot of ego in both sides of these parties.
Okay. So how I took that is, don't play musical chairs. Don't stand up and move around. And once the music stops, you get caught still standing. So right. Yes, that's a very good perspective. And I'm glad you shared that with us and broke it down. Again, so enough about them. We want to speak about us, how we can bring change, how you can continue to bring change. You've been involved in the community for My goodness.
Since I was 12 years old.
Many years. Dedication. And like I said, the intent, there is no motive here other than behind Stephanie, other than to help the people. She's always been that way. And I speak from that not only because she's sitting here next to me. I've witnessed this woman do this. I've watched her get up every single day and go to schools and tell people to vote and why they're voting. And as you guys can see what I'm saying, she just broke it down to you and said, okay, let's explain what is this and what is that. So she's very, very much so for the people. So that being said, in regards to the community and a woman like yourself and speaking to other young men and women, how can we cause change? How can we get them in that seat? What are some things that they can do to hopefully, definitely one day get in that position?
Well, one thing that I would say is to start out young. Figure out what it is that you're passionate about changing in your community. One of the things that I always did was, in noticing what was going on in my very underserved community, was to find out what resources were not there and to create them with resources that we did have there, like the Boys and Girls Club, for example.
Yes.
So we think that, our small voices don't make a difference. They do. The other thing that I would encourage people to do is to seek out unbiased information about what's going on and to hear what's being said on both sides.
Yes.
So that you do understand that your neighbor is not necessarily holding these beliefs in their heart. They're being told that over and over and over again, and they think it's true because they don't have any other alternative source that's being communicated to them. So find a way out of love to communicate, what's going on politically on either side. The third thing that I would definitely encourage people to do is to take advantage of this new Florida law that just passed with Real ID voters.
Okay.
Registration. So the largest party in this state passed some voter registration laws that deal with the fact that in order to vote now, you have to present an ID that's a real ID. That means that ID has you've been verified, birth certificate, verified, all of that as a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
The reason why this can absolutely work in the favor of individuals who want to have more control and say in our government is because the individuals that have been able to use alternative IDs, they don't look like any of us in terms of our documentation, So because one party has overwhelmingly used those groups of people and said the other party was the one doing it, what they've done by now having to put their money where their mouth is, in my opinion, and changing these ID laws is taking away probably 25% of their registered voters in the state of Florida that should not have been voting for them in the first place. That has actually leveled the playing field if all of the independents, the nonpartisan voters, we come out and actually vote for a good candidate. Not just the lesser of two evils, getting out during the primaries and voting for all of these candidates. And then also doing so on the local level.
Yes.
The fourth thing is that besides coming out to vote, that we also need to have people that we can vote for. So back in the day, in the 1800s, we had what was called a poll tax. This tax was put on voters of color and women and all those other different groups that they did not want to vote, to have them pay a fee in order to vote. We have a poll tax now that nobody talks about. We have a poll tax in order to have the candidate of our choice on the ballot. So every candidate that runs, let's just say in the city of Hollywood, for instance, or let's say Congress.
Okay.
If you want to run for Congress, there's a ballot fee that you have to pay. And I believe it was about $15,000 when I ran.
Oh, my goodness.
So that is a poll tax. That means that the average person in your community that has good common sense, business sense, who's for the community, who's, got good ideas about how to improve the community, who people support, unless the people who really can't afford it pay to get them on the ballot, they will not have representation. That's a reverse poll tax. And it is in every election from the local government all the way up to the presidency of the United States, which is like $160,000 per ballot that you're on to run for president.
Oh, wow.
So that is the reason why individuals aren't able to get on a ballot. Now, there are ways around that. There are petitions that can be signed, and you're not saying that you're voting for this person. You're just saying you agree that this person should be able to run without paying X amount of dollars to get on the ballot.
Okay.
That starts to level the playing field and allow us to take our government back because of, things like Citizens United and others that were passed.
Yes, I agree. And like she stated, these are all things that you can research. You Google. Thank goodness for Google. You can check it out, educate yourself, be aware. And like she said, don't be biased. Listen to both sides. Try not to involve your emotions into it because you want, like she said, you want to stay on that fair playing level. Always relate to the people. One thing I've noticed in regards to, I'll say leadership, so I won't single anybody out. But in regards to presidents, congressmen, mayors, governors, that line of leaders. Again, you don't have to reply to this, but I'm going to state it. I think social media has done something to leaders where they think that this is a TV show, this is a game, this is views, this is likes. Some of them, she put it nicely. She said ego. I'm going to say everybody thinks they're superstars, hence even the president of the United States. But again, I'm not faulting him because we should have expected this because he was shooting a reality TV show prior to running to be the president of the United States. So that being said, what impact, or again, you don't have to answer, but what impact do you think social media has on voting in the right or wrong person?
I think it's a huge impact, especially nowadays when so many people get their news from social media and not credible sources. Mm-hmm. We already know that several foreign countries have bought out huge ads on Facebook and on the other social medias to flood our market with our social media with who that government wanted to be in office. Mm-hmm. But we also have to look at the impact of just having someone who was so heavily involved in social media being appointed to such a sensitive position in our government, speaking of Elon Musk, and what that really has cost us, and then what influence and impact he was able to make on his own personal brands because of the positions that he's been in. And so when you start there, you also have to look at other leaders that are in those same positions. Right now we have a lot of, the gas prices are going crazy. Mm-hmm. Yes. But we have to ask ourselves, why is Donald Trump issuing contradictory messages right before the markets open?
Yes.
What we have forgotten is that our Congress is no longer barred from making money off of stocks and bonds and commodities and things that they can influence by their actions and their votes anymore. Their wives and their spouses were barred from doing this in the past as well. But now, if I can come out and say and purchase $2 million worth of oil commodities and bet against them, bet that the price is going to go up in the future. These are futures. And then vote to do something or declare something like Donald Trump has done with the war and cause that to increase. Now I'm making money off of my futures because I predicted that they would go up. But then let's go a step further. If I turn around and then the next week announce, oh, I made a deal with Iran and the oil prices are going to be coming down and we're taking the sanctions off of 140 million barrels of their oil. And then I don't do that, but the general market reacts in that way, then I've also just made my friends billions of dollars. Now, people say, well, if the market is going up and down for everybody, then wouldn't that affect billionaires and millionaires? No, it doesn't. It doesn't even affect me. And I'm not, in that category. Yeah. But there are products that people with well-versed certified financial advisors put in place that these billionaires have that advise them to where their stocks or their investments are guaranteed not to go below 150% or 250% of the original amount. And you change that amount each year. You adjust it as your portfolio grows.
Yeah, like a sell stop.
So as people are selling off stock because the prices are dropping, individuals who have had advice like me are buying them. And individuals like Trump and them are doing them in mass. I might buy one or two little stocks. Yeah. I might get Disney that week. Yeah,
they're buying blocks of Disney.
Blocks of Disney, exactly. And they're not losing on the blocks that they already own.
Okay.
So it's a redistribution of wealth over and over again from your 401ks.
And I was just going to say that hopefully it's their money out of their pockets, but unfortunately it's some of the tax.
It's all our money.
It's all of the tax.
It's our money. It's every small investor who has a few dollars in the stock market. It's every employee who has money invested in a 401k because those are then invested into the market to help them to grow. It's everybody who has an annuity. All of those individuals who don't know to protect it in this way, they are the ones that are paying the cost. So it's their money that's being drawn away. And the reason why we found out this was as an NFL family, when the market crashed, when we were first in the league, we didn't know this. And we just saw like dropping, and we panicked. We were like, pull it out.
Hurry, get out.
Pull it out. But what we should have done is let it stay in there because it's going to go right back up again. Yeah, but as we're selling it, there's somebody that's got money up here buying it.
Pumping and dumping.
Yes, and it's for a redistribution of wealth. It doesn't matter what level you're on.
Well, there goes the definition that we are the workforce. Being that our tax dollars are being used in this purpose. So, again, you brought up the NFL. That's going to lead us into